Matic, but seriously good.
He's really good. He's would you say the best rapper?
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I
Okay.
cannot say that in the world we have right now,
I know.
but he is right up there.
Yeah,
Hello,
no, that's a hard
hello.
one. That's a
A
hard
very
one
hard one. So we'll
because, yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, hello, 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 and
hi.
welcome to The Riff for yet another week. This is episode 2. Thank you very much for watching episode 1. We have a lot of fun doing this,
Yeah.
and we really like that you can appreciate that as well. And please do, ask us questions, etc., or if you want to. If you'd like us to focus on a particular topic, please let us know because between us and Google. Actually, I don't even want to talk about which search engine we use because that has become a generic name now for search engines.
Google. It's a word now. It's in the
Yeah,
dictionary.
but Google's doing some naughty things to the world. Ah, come on, people. Let's get a little bit on the side of humanity here. But anyway, we're going to talk about music. You got anything for me today, darling?
Yeah, I read something very interesting the other day on Instagram, on the gram.
We always find interesting things on Instagram. Don't mind my foot. We're just being really chill and casual in the studio. Hello.
Yeah.
So what did you read?
It was a quote by Freddie Mercury. He said, "We are in the golden age of music. There will come a time when technology becomes so advanced that we'll rely on them to make music rather than raw talent. Music will lose its soul."
When did Freddie say this?
Uh, Last week.
From the grave?
Well, it's a 80s.
Well, if Freddie said that in the 80s
Yeah.
and we are now in 2024, obviously there is something we need to talk about here. Has technology been creeping in ever since the industrial age?
Well, obviously, right?
Yeah, well, it has been. And
Yeah.
at every stage we have said, we being human beings.
Because around that time, wasn't it electronic funk and all that
Well,
stuff coming in?
synthesizers
Yeah.
was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Where we had rock bands for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely rock bands. But 80s pop, as we talked about last week on episode 1, Duran Duran, before they went, broke off and had a little supergroup, Some Like It Hot. Synthesizers and all electronic,
Yeah,
etc.,
sure.
etc. But now I think what is really happening, it's not just electronic, it's AI.
Well, yeah, and the other thing too is you can find good music. You have to look for it. There was a comment after that in the thread that said, "Yeah, he's right though, but you can still find good music, but it's not mainstream. It's not on the radio. You never hear it. You have to go look for it."
The whole point of music is that everything should be mainstream. To
Sure.
have to go look for good music really shows something about what our societies are, the state the societies, and now if we now accept that everything.
So does that mean raw talent is not getting recognized for music anymore?
In everything, it's
Yeah.
not. But this is specifically a music show, so we're just talking about the music side of
Yeah.
things. No, it's not. Because if you think about this, for instance, like all the idol shows, The Voice, and all that.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But if any of the like, can you imagine Joe Cocker now?
Sure. Well, wow. Yeah.
Or even Elton John. No, Elton John will do okay.
Yeah.
But there's so many people who may not get the chance because they don't look right.
Right. Yeah.
And that's a very we're very visual. Music has become a very visual industry, and I guess that's why that judging show, the Voice, had had its. But they get to a certain point, but the audience knows what the person looks like.
Yeah.
So
But it's always been visual,
yes, that is true.
Wouldn't you say?
Well, that is what, and this
Entertainment has always been a visual thing.
absolutely, but it then goes to a bigger, deeper, more convoluted thing about what is physical, what it looks for, and that's a conversation we have coming up on a new show called The Crunch, The Intelligence of Beauty. But stay tuned for that another time. Right now, we're talking about music, and today's topic is theme songs, or what's your G up song? What is your strut song is what I used to call it at one stage. What is that? And I'm cold remembering. I'm just like going from my mind. I did a show earlier, and I'm a little bit like, so this is your
Yeah, well, see, I know my songs, but background-wise, I had to do a bit of research.
Right,
So
okay.
I've written a few things down
okay, cool.
so I don't slip up.
So are you?
There we go.
That background noise. Don't worry about this. This is the studio. Things happen in a studio. This is old school style. I did have some news, but I completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, it was about we're not Taylor Swift fans. But I'm not really a detractor because I'm not into that type of music, and everyone's entitled to their taste in music. So I don't think that musicians should be detracted. But I am not particularly a Taylor Swift fan, in that I feel like she is a very clever form of public relations.
She's talented.
She is talented, and well, she appeals to her audience, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
But now her audience is turning on her in some. She's just dropped an album. It's called Tortured Poets, and of course, it's a classic line for anyone who is not a Taylor Swift fan to say, "Oh yeah, this is torture to our eardrums." But again, it seems like a whole rehashing and stuff. So I don't know, but we should come up with news. So next week we'll have news for you. Right now we're just cold calling. So I'm going to let you go and start first with this.
Well, I got 3 theme songs. We're
Cool.
talking about our
Yeah,
personal theme
our
songs.
personal theme songs.
that mean something to us.
And
right?
that's why I did mention Taylor Swift, because a lot of her audience really identifies
Sure, yeah.
with her songs, because it's all about heartbreak and angst. So she became a billionaire off your pain, people. Cool. I guess that's what we want our entertainers to do, get rich off our angst. Anyway, so that's why I just people have their theme songs and they all just, oh, this is the Taylor Swift song. That was the song that's for my life.
Yeah.
So this is why that was related, but I completely forgot to read up about news on that. So take it away.
Yeah, well, I got 3 songs.
Cool.
And so they mean something to me. 3 different phases or
Okay, yeah.
times in my life.
Sure, yeah.
So the first one I'm going to mention is Song 2 by Blur. Now that song came out in
Woo!
I got some information here. In 1997. So I was in Papua New Guinea.
Right.
Right. So, and I got into the gym. I was gymming at that time. I was in high school and I was, trying to get buff and stuff. But yeah, so that was my workout song. That song really fired me up. It gave me, I don't know, this insane amount of energy, So,
It is a good song.
yeah, it's such a hype song. It really gets me going. Even now, when I hear it, I'm like, oh my God, I need to, do something. It really hypes me up. So that's my hype song.
Right, okay. So that's your workout song too.
Well, yeah,
right?
it totally
So
is my workout song. If I am working out and I happen to hear it, I'll just go nuts a little bit, extra hyper. But yeah, so that's my first song. My second song was when I came back to Fiji. It was Bust a Move by Young MC.
Hello.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I used to play that
Busted.
song
Dum, dum,
every time. That was my feel good song. And my third song is Battle Without Honor or Humanity by Tomoyasu Hotei. Yeah. And we all know that song from
Well, maybe they don't. So please do tell.
right. Well, it's from Kill Bill Volume 1. The scene where they introduce Oranish.
I'm going to have to take over from
Yes,
this,
please
okay?
do.
So this is not the first time it's appeared in a movie. It was actually written for another movie, a
Yes.
Japanese movie about 3-4 years
Yeah.
prior by that.
And it has the same title almost.
So no, it's Battle Without Honor. And I think that the Tarantino, when it was done for Kill Bill, when it was included in the soundtrack, that's when I think the humanity part was added to it.
Okay.
But I think the first part of it, and I think it's from the movie Hotel, I don't know, something, it's a Japanese movie. And it was
New
made...
Battles.
New Battles?
New Battles Without Honor and Humanity is the name of the movie.
Oh, okay, so maybe that's what changed for when it was used on the Kill Bill soundtrack.
Yeah, so it became famous in Western audiences when Quentin Tarantino used it in Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
But prior to that, Japanese audiences and fans of Japanese music and this particular artist already knew it. But this is a killer introduction to Oranishi.
Yeah. So that's my new song. Every time I step out of the house, I put my headphones on. That's the first song I play. Walking down the street, going anywhere.
Yeah, now that
it's just
song is
pump
a
song.
real pump song,
Yeah,
and
gets me ready to do stuff.
You got anything else to say about Bust a Move?
Yeah, actually, I read some interesting things about this song, and also a song too. So let me just.
I don't know
let
too
me,
much about Blur apart from the Gallagher brothers, right? Liam and Noel Gallagher. They're
no, no,
Blur.
no, no, no,
They're not Blur?
no. They're not Blur. They're that is that Blink 182?
No,
Oh
God, I
no,
don't think so. I think it's
no, Oasis.
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 Sorry, I
Sorry, yeah.
don't. Some of these people all sound the same to me. Although I do like British music. So sorry about that, fellas.
Okay, cool. The song, right? Bust a Move. I'm going to read about Bust a Move. I'm just going to read from Wikipedia. The song is built on a sample of Found a Child by the group Ball and Jack. The drums, produced by Lynn Drum, are sampled from the song Radioactivity by Royal Cash. The breakdown segment contains a combination of beats sampled from songs Scorpio by Dennis Coffey and the Detroit Guitar Band, and The Daytime Hustler by Bette Midler. So it's fully sampled from all these songs, the drums, everything.
Sampling is an art of
Yeah.
its own. What was that song that was a real? Oh my gosh, um, you have to look it up. It's a song that was poking fun at the old jazz people. It's a, gosh.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
Come look it up, honey. It's talking all that jazz. And
Yes,
it's all about
that's it.
sampling. Yeah,
That's
talking
it.
all that jazz.
Yeah, yeah.
Who was that by? I can't remember now. The band. Oh my god.
Let me just pull it up.
This is why we need researchers, by the way. We are looking for
Talking
sponsors
all
and
that jazz,
patrons and
right? Is
advertisers.
that
So
the song?
please do feel free to contact us. Our email is right there because we do need researchers. We can't do all the work by
Stereosonic.
ourselves. Stereosonic.
Yeah.
They were having a go at all the R&B and jazz people, and they're, we're talking in the black music industry
Yeah.
because jazz is a black thing, you know. Well, pretty much all music, like blues, and we will talk about that, all the histories of music and things like that
Yeah.
later. But yeah, that's an
I
interesting
love
thing.
that you introduced some music that you've introduced me to I've never heard of before, and it's the bomb. I love it.
Speaking of which, a lot of the songs that were sampled from, I have no idea
I know,
about any
right?
of them. It's like, what?
But yeah, so I just wanted to read that about Bust a Move, but like that's where I mean there's a history of sampling that it's still happening now, which is fantastic. I think that's the sharing of art, the sharing of you know.
Sure, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I mentioned in last week's episode that I did have a dance dance single out in nightclubs in Hong Kong in mid-90s and also played in Fiji, but no one knew that we're dancing to a song that I had sung. But it was all sampled from other things, and there was a bit of Janet thrown in too because the producers decided to throw in some Janet's moaning and stuff.
Sure.
I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not moaning like Janet, sorry. So I don't know. I think look, everyone samples, right?
Yeah.
I guess everybody, all jazz people, because people will say, well, all jazz sounds the same. No, it doesn't. But I think that maybe everyone does sample from each other, so it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Okay, well, is
Yeah.
that your song?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Those are my 3 songs. I was supposed to pick one, but there were different points in my life that I felt like, oh my goodness, different songs.
Different points in life, which means I've got to now.
What about you?
Ah! Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Theme song.
I'm going to also do 3. My first theme song, or the song that I think it's not really my theme song, it's my signature song, and that's Fever.
Right.
And the version I sing is Peggy Lee's song, but she's not the first person who sang that. It wasn't actually her song. It was written by, people in the 50s and sung by, I can't remember the names right now, but Peggy Lee, does it matter? Yes, it does matter, and we'll have that in the caption for you, the actual details of all that. But when Peggy Lee sang it in 58 is when it really exploded and became a hit, and it became a hit for her and became her signature song too. And I was really into Peggy Lee as a teenager. And we'd been going to jazz clubs, etc., and then you'd hear people singing it, and I bought a CD of Peggy Lee. Or was it a cassette at that time? Look, I don't know, but I had it, and I loved Fever. So when I first sang, and I am talking about these stories on What Was It Like, which is on Saturdays at 7 p.m. We've just dropped episode number 1, where I'm talking about my career path from 1989 till now. What was it like back then and now? Season 1 is about my career path. Season 2 is about everybody else. But that's where I explain that this is the first song I ever sang publicly, professionally. Well, not the first song I sang publicly, but professionally. So that's Fever. So it became a bit of a theme song for me. And if everyone wants to, if there was ever a song to be used as an intro, like if I was walking on stage somewhere, then Fever, and all musicians that I have played with all over the world know that is my song.
Yeah,
so they'll, doom, 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 doom. And I guess most contemporary jazz, or commercialized jazz singers, women especially, but Elvis has done Fever as well. It's a little bit more, swing style,
Sure, yeah.
and a bit more black, because hello, we're talking about Eminem. He said something that Elvis did it and it was okay for him, kind of thing. It wasn't okay, but oh well. We'll talk about that another time. So Fever by Peggy Lee
cool.
is a signature song, whether or not it's a theme song, because it's certainly not a song I think about when I need to get myself G'd up. So, okay, look, I don't know if I'm talking about theme songs as signature songs, because another signature song for me was when I was on radio, late 80s and early 90s. And it was She's a Lady by Tom Jones. She's a lady. Whoa, 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 she's a lady.
Yeah, cool.
And this song was written by Paul Anka, again, not a Tom, Anka, A-N-K-A, not a Tom Jones first hit. It was then made famous by him. And Tom Jones, back in the day, it was 1971 when he released the song. And back in the day, it was, Tom Jones was the man. People were weird. They would throw underpants on stage. And it's like, did you wear these underpants when you? No, look, I don't get it. And so he would pick them up and wipe his brow and stuff. I've always just thought that's a little bit ick. But anyway, I'm not saying that it's the actor. It's like strange people here, strangers to each other. So it's a bit weird. And I think he sang this song. I first thought that he had written this song for his wife, because she basically stood by him while he was a pop star in the 70s, when they had not all of them had scruples, and a lot of them had groupies. And so I guess, whatever. But She's a Lady.
Time.
Yes, She's a Lady. And it was also a really, really good ad in the 90s, maybe, starring Claudia Schiffer and Soap. I think so. I think it was an anthropomorphized. What is it? Anthropomorphized. When they an inanimate object.
Yeah.
And it was a soap, a bar of soap, and I can't remember. And it was the bar of soap is fantasizing about the fact that it's about to be the soap for Claudia Schiffer, supermodel, one of the original supermodels, and it was that was the song. But that was also my signature song for being on radio, early 90s.
Cool.
So that was then. And then now my other song, which is a signature song, is the song I used to open up my radio show Brunch to Lunch in the late 90s, or 1997, 1998, when I was a promotions and publicity director for one of the major radio stations in Fiji. And yes, so it was Welcome to the Jungle.
Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses,
Yeah.
of course. Well, Welcome to the Jungle was by that stage, it had been out 10 years. It was the name of the main song and from Appetite for Destruction, released in 1987 by Guns N' Roses, which I have been in love with ever since it was released. Their first song was Sweet Child of Mine, and I loved Axl Rose, absolutely, just like, oh my gosh, plus he's an Aquarian, so hello. So I really, really loved Welcome to the Jungle, and he wrote that based on a trip he made to some other city, I think it may have been Seattle, and about how it was to go to a big city like LA or New York. And he says that when he got off the bus going to New York to make it in the big smoke kind of thing, a homeless person yelled at him, welcome to the jungle, you're going to die.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
jungle out there, you're going to die. And so
Cool.
he used all of that in that. But it's such a great song to
Yeah.
just be the start of anything. And
Yeah,
that for me is
that is a good song.
very much, again, I'm not sure because my songs that are my G up songs are very mood dependent, and it depends on what I really need because there's a lot of songs from the 80s that are just,
Yeah, sure.
because I could also go the Commodores, she's a brick house. She's mighty, mighty, letting it all hang out. She's a brick house.
Yeah,
So,
cool. Love it.
but this is from, back when my music knowledge for jazz and rock and metal and R&B is really from Fiji in
Yeah,
the
sure.
80s and 90s, and we will be talking about that in episodes coming up. But right now, let's go back to Welcome to the Jungle. So Axl Rose, whose real name is William Bruce Rose. He was known as William Bruce Bailey for a long time, and some pop culture reference that I've just got popping up into my head. I think that Bruce Willis's character in Charlie's Angel Full Throttle, starring Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Drew Barrymore, the second one, and Bruce Willis plays a CIA head, and so his name is William Bailey, and I was like,
Wow, cool.
Axl Rose, but Axl Rose's real name is William Bruce Rose, but he didn't know his real father, whose surname was Rose, because they were all very young, the parents, etc. And he was brought up by his stepfather, Bailey, so he then had the name Bailey until he found out later that his real name was Rose, but he didn't want his biological father's first name because he is Junior, William Bruce Rose Jr. And Axl is the name of a band he had. So, look, Axl Rose has been problematic, and if you know a little bit of his history, there's a lot of shitty things he's done, but he's also had a bit of an interestingly traumatic life, and he has accused of his stepfather of abuse, but violence, etc. And he did leave, and he had a lot of trauma response behavior. I love these new terms we have now. I love the terms of today that can really help us talk
Yeah.
about all of these things. So when you read about Axl Rose's life, you can see that this is all trauma response, not at all apologizing for anything that he has done. A lot of his girlfriends have said that he has been problematic in relationships. I'm not sure if it's gone so far as to abuse, but I do know. But again, mental abuse, right? Emotional abuse. And I do know that he was accused of sexual assault, but I think that case didn't happen. But there's many, many cases when he's incited riots because he has looked down at his audience and someone's, taking photographs or something. This is before smartphone days. And he's like, get him, I don't know. And then he just gets fed up, he dives into the crowd, tries to get this guy, then gets back onto the stage, just says, that's it, I'm done. So he's a typical, rock star,
Diva.
diva, typical rock star diva. But look, seriously, I'm not excusing him. It is problematic, but he is brilliant. And I love his lyrics for his songs. And of course, Sweet Child of Mine was, I think, based on Evelyn, I can't remember her name, but after that he was in a relationship with Stephanie Seymour, again a supermodel of the times of 80s and 90s, one of the original Victoria's Secret angels, and truly a supermodel. And of course, you couldn't be a rock star without having a supermodel on your arm. So there you go. And she was in the video for Sweet November Rain. November Rain, not Sweet November.
Yeah.
So November Rain.
Yeah.
And that was really disturbing, that video. And it's like,
What a song, though. The composition of the music was beautiful.
and of course,
I love the music in it.
and of course, Slash,
On the piano.
Yeah, but oh gosh.
Sorry, the video clip.
Yes,
I'm
the
just
video
thinking-
clip. I was thinking, Slash, no, on the piano. Now, Slash was actually the problematic one.
Sure.
And so Guns N' Roses imploded somewhere in the 90s and noughties, and Axel has stayed with Guns N' Roses. Now, Guns N' Roses, the name of this band came from two previous bands he was in. One was his called Hollywood Rose, and he and Slash and I think Izzy Stradlin, who oh, I can't remember the drummer's name. I'm so sorry. When drums are usually my favorite instrument, and I can't remember the drummer's name for Guns N' Roses, but we'll talk about that. This is just things off the top of my head. And they were in Hollywood Rose, and this is around 85, around that. And then Axel had another band called LA Guns, but this was not his band. He was part of it, and then of course they formed Guns N' Roses from Hollywood Rose. And he had another band somewhere in the 80s called Axel, and he was so obsessed with this band. Axel is a guitar term, isn't it, or something?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I
only know it as a car term, as a vehicle thing. Yeah. You know, the axle that connects kind of things.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Check that.
So then that's why everyone just said, you're so obsessed with this band. Why don't you just call yourself? And he was like, all right. So he legally changed his name to Axl Rose. And what a name. And
it is.
Oh my gosh. So Welcome to the Jungle was my signature song for the opening for my actual radio show, Brunch to Lunch. And if you know the name, Brunch to Lunch was from 10:30 to 1, or 10 o'clock to 1. So 10 o'clock in the morning, Welcome to the Jungle would blare out of the
well, everyone's radios, right?
You know, the radio. And it's like, oh, okay, Sandhya's on air now. That's great. I was allowed, I was a bit naughty because we did have programming, and I would just deviate a lot of the programming because...
That is so rock and roll.
Oh, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't mean to be. It's just that usually in radio prior to that mid-morning, which this was the first time I had taken over that time slot because they wanted to, zhuzh things up. And it was a new, I will talk about that later, but usually it was for, the mothers and who are ironing, and they wanted to hear about recipes and country music and stuff. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. It's just that I don't think that every single person listening to the radio at that time wants that. And I think they should be talked up to or talked to at a level where they want to learn, So they're happy to listen and tune into what this crazy woman is doing.
Yeah, right.
So I felt it was a good thing I was doing.
Sure.
But, so I don't really know what else, but definitely that.
Yeah.
A battle without honor and humanity is a signature, not a signature, but a theme song for me.
Yeah.
I really think that is a song that I do also play to really G myself up now. And we in all that, we do also listen to a lot of soundtracks, a lot of movie soundtracks, and so a lot of movie themes, TV themes. So we will talk about that another time, because one theme for us, one for me now is the Mandalorian theme.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful, man.
But we will talk about our favorite themes from movies and television
that'd be
in another episode. But this is some of these I listen to like, okay, I'm ready to rise now.
Yeah.
But back then, it's anything rock for me. Mm-hmm. And again, mood dependent. So I've not really had one song at any time that is a theme song for me, but it's always been, okay, well, this is the song that I feel like, okay, I'm armed and dangerous. Yeah. So Welcome to the Jungle really made me feel like that. And quite a few other songs.
There's a few. There's so many songs, but I had to pick those three because at those points in my life, those were my go-to songs.
Yeah.
But yeah. And again, I've never been a big song person until later. I'm a late starter for lots of things. So
why music? Why? Because we had talked about in the first episode how you got late to music and all that. But why were you? That's crazy. That to me. So how do you remember how you actually just all of a sudden realized you really like music?
I think it was when I started playing guitar.
Right.
So yeah, we discussed all that.
Yes, in episode 1. So please do watch that, because it's quite a fact filled. Well, not fact, a fact about us and how we got our association with music and how we got into it. And mine is from way back when I just really liked I like how music sets a scene, because this is another thing we have to talk about. Music can really shape the way you see
Yeah.
something, particularly in the way music is used in movies. It
Yes.
absolutely changes a scene depending on what the mood of the song is.
Yeah.
You can take one scene and apply three different styles of music to it, and it can go from ominous to sad to happy.
I saw another quote. I think it was by Jordan Peele. He said
Right.
the only difference between comedy and horror is the music.
Well, that's it. That's
It was something like that. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but you know, it was,
But this is interesting, and do stay tuned for when we do drop this into Finalysis, because we talk about, and I'm not going to say the name of the movie, but a movie we watched that is, well, it's aged in terms of even though it's only from 2000, it has aged, this particular movie that we will talk about. But you had when we watched it the other night, rewatched it, you said, "Wow, if this wasn't funny," and I mean, the humor can be a bit, a bit bad, and it is politically just not
yeah,
correct
the humor
at all.
has not aged.
The
Well.
humor has not aged, but there are parts of it that are laugh out funny.
Yeah.
And then I guess when we do go into Finalysis with this one, we can start off
Yeah.
talking about this. But you did say if this wasn't a comedy,
Yeah.
it would actually be a horror movie.
Yeah, or really, yeah, and a really good sci-fi flick. You know, it was the premise was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how it played out, but the comedy just, you know, kind of added something else to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just had a memory now of what one of my theme songs is, what I need to listen to. The Hawaii 5-0 theme
damn.
song. Doom. Doom 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 doom. Doom 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 doom. Da 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 da. Okay, I'm sorry I'm doing that to your ears, but seriously, I think it was more than that. But I absolutely loved that. Is one of my, okay, we will talk more about sound, movie themes and television show themes, because there's so many.
Yeah.
But this one in particular is one of my G-Up songs. It's like, okay, I'm ready. Da 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 da. So I'm going to go for it now. And of course, that's from Hawaii 5-0. And when we do talk about and I guess we will do that. That is coming up in episode 4, because episode 3 is, well, we're going to go to Fiji. We have mentioned Fiji a lot now. And just behind Dwayne is a poster from 1994. And do you want to just pull that in front, darling? And we'll show a little bit of this. But yeah, Hawaii 5-0's theme song is definitely a theme song. So, okay, this poster, you can see it right. Well, it's, yeah, there was a legendary band of the 90s in Fiji. I'm not that short. I'm just sitting on a stool wearing a lace gown. And these are legends of Fiji music industry. We've got, major bass players and guitarists, and of course he's called the godfather of music in Fiji and in the Pacific region. That's Ken Jansen. So we will be talking more about the Fiji music industry next episode. Right now we are still talking about theme songs, and I think that is really it for me.
Yeah, also me. I mean, we do need to talk about theme songs from movies.
Theme songs from movies. This is a really interesting one. But I would love you if you could, in the comments section, please do engage with us. We don't bite, I swear. Interact. Tell us what your theme songs are. What is the song that really gets you pumped, when you're feeling like you need a little bit of extra energy? I guess for me it is Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah, right.
Wow, that's crazy. I have to think through all my playlists, because I do have quite a few that, but I think that for me it is movie and television theme soundtracks that are my G-Up songs, because I can also throw in Superman theme song from the 70s. From the 70s.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
So all of that, and yeah, so those theme songs, but definitely
John Williams stuff, huh?
a lot of John Williams. He's a modern day.
Star
He's our
Wars.
modern day composer, Hans Zimmer and all
Yeah.
that. It's a real pity. That's another thing we have to talk about. Where are all the women composers? It is absolute rubbish to say that they don't exist. I can't say any off the top of my head, and that's a real shame because, well, we do need to talk about how the composers work. It's not like Hans Zimmer sits there all by himself and composes. You know, he does have a team of people composing for him, but that's a creative director in any way. You know, you do have the creative vision, like designers, fashion designers. Not all of them can draw, and they certainly can't sew and cut patterns, but they have a vision.
Yeah, sure.
And then they have the atelier people, the seamstresses, the pattern makers, you know. So I guess modern day composers have all those people. So, but imagine what Beethoven and all those people of that time had. They had to do it all alone.
Yeah.
But the composers then, so like, I'm sure that they sit down and go, well, this is what I like now, or take it and expand on it
Yeah,
or
that's right.
something. But anyway, so that's you've got to talk about all of these theme songs and stuff. I guess for me now, a modern day one is Mandalorian.
Yep.
And Hawaii Five-0. So I don't know if it's lots of songs at different times have had, Beyonce's had many songs like Who Run the World, you know, girls for us. So for girls, it became like, theme song for us. And that's quite a few songs then really echo a mood. So it depends on how you feel. And for me, a workout song, I don't know. I don't really like to listen to music when I work out
Right.
because I like really thinking about my body, and I have to, be inward into my body when I'm working out or something.
I guess I like to just drown out everything around me.
Yes.
So
I know,
love
but no,
to,
you are very
yeah.
focused. I love, Dwayne and I have this routine where you put me through squats, etc. in the morning when we wake up. It's like, I don't want to do it, but it's so great. And I love doing that with you. Anyway, well, I think that's us for today.
Yeah. How about this though? You told me. No, this I've stolen this shit from you. By the way, it's mine.
No, you didn't steal it, darling. I got it for you.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
We bought it, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So we bought it together. I didn't
Yeah.
get it for you. We bought it together. So I didn't want to actually really bring it up because I'm having a real, I can't access my information. This is, of course, an iconic imagery, not the stormtrooper's helmet, because hello, if the stormtrooper would, a lightning bolt would never hit a stormtrooper. Stormtroopers miss everything. But by the way, just in solidarity, I am wearing a t-shirt because of Dwayne. And like, don't they look like a band? Like, look.
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's got Friend Zone, but don't they look like a band? And it's, of course, Leia would be, lead guitarist. I think Han is bass.
Sure.
Oh my God! Can you believe
Calrissian? No.
I can't believe it.
Lando.
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 Oh my God!
Lando. No, Lando's on bass because he's black.
Lando's on drums.
Right.
Lando's got soul. He's on drums. Or maybe Han. No, Han is. Come on, Han is the bass guitarist.
Sure.
Think about it.
Okay, I got you.
And and of course Luke is then rhythm guitar, but Leia's just she can play keyboard as well. So if this was a band, a Star Wars band, speaking of which, do stay tuned. We have a special finalysis coming up very shortly, and this is why we're doing a lead up to it with the Star Wars, because May 4th is coming up, and of course we are going to have to talk about Star Wars Day, because I'm a Star Wars freak. From the moment I saw that scroll in 77, I was like, that's my stuff. So we've got to talk about it.
I mean, how exciting is it every time you see that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Da, 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 da,
It's
da.
like, okay, it's starting.
But people forget to read the actual story because a lot of backstory is in the scroll, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
of the story of the movie we're watching. But going back to the Stormtrooper helmet, this is iconic imagery from David Bowie, and I can't remember which one of his avatars that was, because these rock stars, these legendary rock stars, like Madonna, like David Bowie, they constantly change and reinvent themselves and have different characters and personas who are best, who can best express the music they're making at that moment. Artists change all the time. At the moment, Beyonce, speaking of when I had mentioned, Beyonce has dropped a Beyonce album. It's not a country album. It's Beyonce's take on the genres that make up country. And people, of course, when I say people, I mean the Euro whites of um, the state of America. Not all of them, of course. So the album has gone right up, and Beyonce is the first Black American woman to hit the top of the country music charts, and that's wonderful.
That's awesome.
Beyonce was born in Texas. Like, hello, have you heard her speak? That is a real twang. And she was brought up in rodeo, and around rodeos. And let's not forget that the original cowboys of the state of America were actually Black and First Nations people. But okay. But why do they always have to discount country in that regard? Anyway, Beyonce, she's constantly reinventing herself, and this now she's in her Western era,
cool.
which I love being in West. I love Western. I've never been into country music except for some songs, some Casey Chambers songs, and I do love Dolly Parton. But and as much as I love the melody of the song, I really, really hate one particular song of Dolly's, which I absolutely love as well. I have such a love-hate relationship with it. I don't know if I should talk about it now because we will be talking about certain songs. So we'll talk about that another time. Stay tuned. The episodes will be dropping every Sunday at 5 o'clock. Join us or watch us. But we will be talking about such varied things as that, as lyrics. And this is one song that has got a very modern reinvention by Beyonce. And we'll talk about that. But again, talking about, I think it was Iggy Stardust. Oh, look, I can't remember something Stardust, but that's what this iconic lightning bolt, because David Bowie was in his spiky hair and everything, and he has that, and it's iconic imagery. And my apologies, I have not really been a David Bowie fan. As much as I admire him as an artist, I'm not into his music.
Sure.
And I just thought he was a very elegant, very extremely talented performer and artist, and just such a loss to music when he passed away, seemingly so suddenly. But we found out when he passed away that he had been battling cancer for a long time, and and then his beautiful wife, legendary supermodel Iman, then she was the one who shared it. They kept things very, very private, but they were absolutely beautiful together. Two very, just made for each other couple, just stunning. It was sad. Likewise, Chadwick Boseman, when he passed away, no one realized, not even his co-stars and colleagues, that he had cancer. But anyway, those are tales for another show. Finalysis, we do have Finalysis there. Right now we've got Finalysis of the Nolanverse happening. Nolanverse, of course, for people who know, what Nolanverse is about. It's another favorite character of ours, Batman.
Yes, of course.
And done as depicted by Christopher Nolan, as played by one of our favorites. And we talk about that because what the Finalysis is currently, and we've been doing this for a while now, is we talk about our favorite movies and characters, etc. It's not a review, it is fan analysis, Finalysis. And Dwayne then draws his
Just a picture to represent the movie. I don't know what would
your art, so
Yeah.
fan art, so the way
Yeah, fan
your
art.
version
Yeah,
or
yeah.
how you view things.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying here.
Oh, sorry, I'm still on music because
Right.
this is
But I am now talking about all
Yeah.
our other shows, so please
Yeah.
do. But there is a reason why, because again, the Batman theme from
Yes.
the Nolanverse is also a
That's
big.
Hans Zimmer.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
So, but do please have a look at our Finalysis, and we'll be talking about movies there. But movies and music are so closely entwined that I can't always differentiate between them, because music for some of our favorite characters are also theme songs for us. Anyway, so that's us, and please do join us again next week on The Riff. We will be talking about the Fiji music industry from my point of view and what we know of it, and just little bits and pieces of the different musicians, etc., and other things we need to share, and people you should know if you fancy yourself a music buff. You should also know about music globally, not just what's happening in the Eurostream, because we haven't even touched on the fact that we do listen to music from all over the world.
Well, we've got a few other episodes to cover all that stuff.
Okay, so we do. But that's it for us for today.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back, and we've got, what else have we got tomorrow? We'll be back tomorrow morning for the Daily Egg.
Yep.
That is our news and views show, our weekly news and views show. And then tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, we've got Sitara, where we talk about everything celestial, and that is astrology, astronomy, and theology. What are we talking about tomorrow? Well, you'll have to tune in to find out. Thank you. Bye.